Welcome to the world of J-Cat, where thrills meet tenderness in a captivating blend of sexy, excitement and romance. Hosted by the adventurous Jay Bahari, this hip podcast invites listeners to embark on exhilarating journeys filled with captivating stories and heartfelt moments. Each episode explores the intriguing intersections of adventure and love, transporting you to breathtaking romance and inspiring tales that will leave you yearning for your own escapades. Whether you're a seasoned traveler, a hopeless romantic, or simply someone who appreciates a great story, J-Cat Adventures promises a delightful escape into the extraordinary, sparking your imagination and igniting your wanderlust. Tune in and let the adventures begin.
Hi, I am your host Jay Bahari. Let's go. J-Cat, passion in the city of lights. J-Cat, a man of contrasts, is the embodiment of the rich playboy lifestyle, dark, handsome, and irresistibly charming. His presence commands attention wherever he goes, moving effortlessly through the highest echelons of society. Dressed in the latest designer fashions, he is the epitome of sophistication, and his iconic Jaguar sedan only adds to his allure. Yet, beneath the glamorous exterior, lies a man of profound depth and compassion, a man driven by a purpose far beyond the pursuit of pleasure. J-Cat's true calling is far nobler than the life of luxury he portrays. He is a protector of the vulnerable, a champion for those who cannot defend themselves. In a world rife with injustice, he uses his vast resources and sharp intellect to combat the darkness lurking in the shadows of society. Whether it's a powerful corporation exploiting the weak or a dangerous criminal preying on the innocent, J-Cat is there, bringing justice to the oppressed and hope to the hopeless. It was supposed to be just another mission. A high-profile target in Paris, a dangerous enemy closing in, and a city on the brink of chaos. J-Cat was brought in to neutralize the threat and restore order, his emotions locked away as usual. He was a professional, after all, no distractions, no complications, just the mission. But then he crossed paths with Sabine. Sabine is unlike any woman J-Cat has ever met. She is a mystery, a blend of elegance and strength that captivates him from the moment they meet. Her intelligence and quick wit challenge him in ways he's never been challenged before, and her beauty is a distraction he can't afford. But more than that, there is a fire in her eyes, a resilience that draws him in despite himself. Their first meeting is electric, a clash of wills and a test of boundaries. Sabine, who is no stranger to danger, sees through J-Cat's stoic exterior. She recognizes the pain he hides, the loneliness he denies, and the vulnerability he refuses to show. She is drawn to him, not just because of his strength, but because of the man she sees beneath the armor. J-Cat, on the other hand, is torn. He knows he should keep his distance, that Sabine is a complication he doesn't need. But he can't help himself. There is something about her that pulls him in, that makes him want to break his own rules, to take a risk he's never taken before. As the mission progresses, the lines between duty and desire blur. J-Cat finds himself opening up to Sabine in ways he's never opened up to anyone. She becomes more than just a distraction, she becomes his confidant, his partner, his equal. But with the enemy closing in and the stakes higher than ever, J-Cat is forced to confront his deepest fears. Can he let Sabine into his world, a world filled with danger and uncertainty? Can he allow himself to love again after so much loss? And most importantly, can he protect her from the darkness that threatens to consume them both? In the end, J-Cat must decide what is more important, the mission or the woman who has captured his heart. But one thing is certain, no matter what he chooses, his life will never be the same. As J-Cat delves deeper into the mission, Paris becomes more than just the backdrop to a high-stakes operation, it transforms into a battleground where his inner turmoil mirrors the chaos around him. The city's narrow streets and historic landmarks serve as silent witnesses to the unfolding drama, a place where secrets are buried deep and danger lurks around every corner. The tension in the air is palpable, and J-Cat is all too aware that one wrong move could spell disaster, not just for himself, but for Sabine as well. Despite his best efforts to maintain his professional detachment, J-Cat finds himself drawn to Sabine in ways he never anticipated. Her presence is intoxicating, a blend of grace and power that leaves him breathless. She's not just another beautiful face, she's a force of nature, and J-Cat is caught in her storm. Their conversations are laced with a mix of banter and tension, each word a subtle test of trust and vulnerability. But Sabine is no damsel in distress. She's a woman who knows her own mind, who refuses to be just another pawn in a man's game. Her past is shrouded in mystery, but it's clear she's seen her share of darkness. Sabine understands the stakes just as much as J-Cat does, and she's not afraid to get her hands dirty. She matches J-Cat step for step, her sharp mind and quick reflexes making her an invaluable ally in the fight against the forces threatening Paris. As they work together, their connection deepens, transcending the physical attraction that first sparked between them. Sabine challenges J-Cat's long-held beliefs about himself, forcing him to confront the emotional walls he's built over the years. She sees through his carefully crafted facade, recognizing the pain and loss that drive him, and in her presence, J-Cat feels both exposed and understood in a way he's never felt before. For Sabine, J-Cat represents a paradox, a man who embodies both light and darkness, who is capable of great violence and profound tenderness. She's drawn to his strength, but it's his vulnerability that truly captivates her. In J-Cat, she sees a man who has suffered, who has been shaped by loss, and who now stands at a crossroads, unsure of which path to take. Sabine becomes determined to help him see that he doesn't have to face his demons alone. But the mission's stakes grow higher with each passing day. The enemy they face is cunning, ruthless, and relentless, a shadowy figure with ties to some of the most powerful people in the world. J-Cat and Sabine are outnumbered and outgunned, and every step forward feels like a dance on the edge of a knife. The weight of responsibility presses down on J-Cat's shoulders, and he begins to fear that his feelings for Sabine might compromise the mission. The closer they get to their target, the more J-Cat realizes just how much he stands to lose. The life he's built, the carefully controlled existence that has kept him alive for so long, starts to unravel as his feelings for Sabine intensify. He finds himself questioning everything he thought he knew about love, loyalty, and sacrifice. In the climactic showdown, J-Cat is forced to make an impossible choice. The enemy has played their final card, putting both Sabine's life and the fate of countless others in his hands. The weight of the decision threatens to crush him, but in that moment, he sees clearly for the first time. J-Cat realizes that protecting Sabine isn't just about keeping her safe from physical harm, it's about allowing himself to be vulnerable, to let her in, and to trust that she can protect him too. In that realization, J-Cat finds the strength he needs to face the enemy, not as the lone wolf he's always been, but as a man who finally understands the power of partnership. The battle is fierce, but J-Cat and Sabine emerge victorious, their bond stronger than ever. The mission is complete, but their story is far from over. As they stand together in the aftermath, the city of Paris now quiet and still, J-Cat knows that his life has been irrevocably changed. For the first time in years, he feels a sense of peace, a peace that comes not from the completion of a mission, but from the realization that he doesn't have to walk his path alone. Sabine has become more than just an ally or a lover, she's become his partner in every sense of the word. As they drive through the streets of Paris in J-Cat's Jaguar, the city lights casting a warm glow over them, J-Cat feels a sense of hope he hasn't felt in years. The road ahead is uncertain, filled with challenges and dangers they can't yet foresee, but for the first time, J-Cat isn't afraid of what's to come. With Sabine by his side, he's ready to face whatever the future holds. Together, they are unstoppable, a force for justice, a beacon of hope in a world that desperately needs it. And as they disappear into the night, one thing is certain, the legend of J-Cat has only just begun. As J-Cat and Sabine drive through the illuminated streets of Paris, the tension of the mission slowly fades, replaced by a quiet intimacy. The city, with its ancient architecture and cobblestone streets, seems to breathe a sigh of relief, the chaos that once threatened it now a distant memory. The hum of the Jaguar's engine is the only sound that fills the air, a soothing backdrop to the unspoken understanding between them. But even in this moment of calm, J-Cat's mind is racing. The victory they've achieved together is bittersweet. While they've neutralized a dangerous enemy, the cost has been steep. He thinks back to the moments of danger, the narrow escapes, and the close calls that could have ended it all. Every time Sabine was in harm's way, his heart skipped a beat, and he realized just how deeply he had come to care for her. As they reach a secluded spot overlooking the Seine, J-Cat parks the car and turns to Sabine. The moonlight dances in her eyes, and for a moment, he's at a loss for words. He's never been one for emotional displays, but with Sabine, things are different. She has a way of stripping away his defenses, leaving him exposed but not weakened. Sabine, sensing the turmoil within him, reaches out and places her hand on his. The simple gesture is enough to calm his racing thoughts. She's always known when to push him and when to give him space, and right now, she understands that he needs to be reminded of why they fought so hard. You did it, Sabine says softly, her voice carrying a note of pride. You saved the city, and you saved us. J-Cat shakes his head, a wry smile playing on his lips. We saved the city, he corrects, his voice low and filled with admiration. I couldn't have done it without you. Sabine laughs lightly, a sound that warms J-Cat's heart. Maybe. But you were the one who led us through the fire. Her words, though meant to reassure, only deepen the conflict within him. J-Cat has always been a leader, a man who thrives on being in control. But with Sabine, he's discovered that true strength comes from knowing when to lean on someone else. It's a lesson he never expected to learn, and one that has changed him in ways he's still coming to terms with. They sit in comfortable silence for a while, the city of light spread out before them like a living, breathing entity. The Eiffel Tower glows in the distance, a symbol of hope and resilience. J-Cat can't help but feel that in some small way, he and Sabine have become a part of that legacy, a force for good in a world that often feels consumed by darkness. But the peace of the moment is fleeting. J-Cat knows that their victory in Paris is just one battle in a larger war. The enemy they faced was only a piece of a much larger puzzle, one that stretches far beyond the borders of any one city. The forces they're up against are powerful and relentless, and J-Cat is all too aware that their fight is far from over. As if reading his thoughts, Sabine turns to him, her expression serious. What's next? She asks, her tone laced with a mix of determination and curiosity. J-Cat sighs, running a hand through his hair. There's always another mission, he says, his voice tinged with a weariness that only someone who's been in the game as long as he has can understand. Always another enemy to fight, another threat to neutralize. Sabine nods, her gaze unwavering. And you'll keep fighting, she says, more a statement than a question. J-Cat meets her eyes, his resolve hardening. As long as there's injustice in the world, I'll keep fighting, he replies, his voice steady. But I don't want to do it alone anymore. The admission surprises even him, but as the words leave his lips, he realizes how true they are. For years, he's been a lone wolf, relying only on himself and trusting no one. But Sabine has shown him that strength doesn't always come from solitude. Sometimes, it comes from the connections we make, from the people we allow into our lives. Sabine smiles, a slow, knowing smile that sends a shiver down J-Cat's spine. Good, she says simply. Because I'm not going anywhere. In that moment, J-Cat feels something shift within him. It's as if a weight he's been carrying for years has finally been lifted, replaced by a sense of purpose that goes beyond the mission, beyond the fight. With Sabine by his side, he feels stronger, more capable of facing whatever challenges lie ahead. As they sit together, the night air cool and refreshing, J-Cat makes a silent vow to himself. He will continue his fight for justice, continue to protect the vulnerable and bring down those who would do harm. But he will also fight for Sabine, for the connection they forged in the heat of battle, and for the future they might build together. The road ahead will be difficult, filled with dangers and uncertainties. But for the first time in a long time, J-Cat doesn't feel alone. He has Sabine, a partner who challenges him, supports him, and sees him for who he truly is. And together, they are unstoppable. The horizon of Paris begins to glow with the soft hues of dawn, casting a gentle light over the city that has been the backdrop to their perilous mission. As J-Cat and Sabine drive through the awakening streets, the tension of the past few days seems to melt away, replaced by a sense of quiet triumph and anticipation. Yet, beneath the calm exterior, J-Cat's mind remains alert, always scanning for threats, always ready for the next challenge. The streets may be serene now, but he knows better than to let his guard down completely. Sabine, sitting beside him, watches the city pass by with a contemplative expression. She's been in dangerous situations before, but this time feels different. This time, she's not just a bystander or a participant, she's part of something larger, something that feels like destiny. The connection she shares with J-Cat is unlike anything she's experienced before, a bond forged in the crucible of danger and necessity, yet tempered by something deeper, something neither of them fully understands yet. As they approach the Seine, J-Cat slows the car and pulls over near a quiet stretch of the riverbank. The waters of the Seine flow steadily, reflecting the first light of the morning in a way that is both peaceful and timeless. It's a scene of tranquility that contrasts sharply with the turmoil they've just escaped, a momentary pause in the relentless pace of their lives. J-Cat steps out of the car, breathing in the crisp morning air. There's a certain stillness in these early hours, a sense of renewal that he seldom allows himself to enjoy. Sabine joins him, her presence grounding him in a way he hasn't felt in a long time. Together, they walk to the edge of the river, where the water laps gently against the stone embankment. For a while, they stand in silence, each lost in their own thoughts. J-Cat's mind drifts to the many battles he's fought, the lives he's saved, and the enemies he's defeated. But this mission, this victory, feels different. It's not just because of the stakes or the danger, but because of Sabine, because of what she represents. She is the one who has made him question his solitary existence, the one who has shown him that strength doesn't have to come from being alone. Sabine, too, feels the weight of the moment. She knows the risks of getting close to someone like J-Cat, a man whose life is defined by danger and secrecy. But she can't deny the pull she feels toward him, the sense that they are connected in a way that goes beyond mere attraction. There's a vulnerability in him that she recognizes because it mirrors her own, a vulnerability that they both try to hide behind walls of steel. Finally, J-Cat speaks, his voice low and contemplative. There's always been a part of me that believed I was meant to do this alone, he admits, his gaze fixed on the flowing water. That the only way to survive was to keep people at a distance, to never let anyone get too close. Sabine turns to him, her eyes soft with understanding. And now? She asks gently. J-Cat meets her gaze, the intensity of his emotions reflected in his dark eyes. Now, I'm not so sure, he says. You've changed something in me, Sabine. Made me see things differently. And that scares the hell out of me. Sabine steps closer, her hand finding his. You don't have to be afraid, she says softly. Whatever happens, we face it together. There's a vulnerability in her words, an unspoken promise that resonates deep within J-Cat. For so long, he's relied on his own strength, his own wits, to navigate the treacherous path he's chosen. But with Sabine, he realizes that true strength comes from allowing himself to lean on someone else, to share the burden of the fight. As the evening descends upon Paris, the city of love transforms into a world of flickering lights and whispered promises. J-Cat and Sabine find themselves at an exclusive restaurant nestled in a quiet corner of the city, a place known only to those who truly appreciate the art of romance. The intimate setting, with its soft candlelight and the distant murmur of jazz, creates the perfect ambience for a night neither of them will forget. J-Cat, ever the epitome of elegance, is dressed in a tailored black suit that complements his dark, brooding features. His eyes, sharp yet softened by the glow of the candlelight, are locked on Sabine. She is radiant, wearing a dress that clings to her curves in all the right places, her skin glowing with the warmth of the evening. Her eyes, filled with a mix of mischief and desire, meet his, and for a moment, the world outside fades away. Their conversation is laced with flirtation, their words dancing around the unspoken tension that has been building between them since they first met. They sip on fine wine, the rich taste lingering on their lips, just as the anticipation lingers between them. Each course of the meal is a work of art, but it is the shared glances, the fleeting touches, that truly intoxicate them. As the night deepens, the conversation turns more personal, more revealing. J-Cat speaks of his past, of the pain and loss that shaped him into the man he is today. Sabine listens, her hand resting on his, offering silent comfort. She, in turn, shares her own story, her own scars, and the strength she has found in overcoming them. It is a moment of vulnerability, of connection, that neither of them expected but both desperately needed. The dessert arrives, a decadent chocolate creation that they share, their fingers brushing as they savor each bite. The sweetness of the dessert is a prelude to the sweetness of the night that awaits them. The tension between them is palpable now, a magnetic pull that neither can resist. As they leave the restaurant, the cool night air does little to cool the heat between them. J-Cat takes Sabine's hand, leading her through the narrow, cobblestone streets of Paris, their footsteps echoing in the quiet night. There's no need for words, everything they need to say is spoken through the way their bodies gravitate toward each other, the way their hands linger when they touch. They reach J-Cat's penthouse, a luxurious space that overlooks the city. The lights of Paris stretch out before them, but neither of them notices the view. The moment they step inside, the door barely closes before J-Cat pulls Sabine into his arms, their lips meeting in a kiss that is both fierce and tender. It's a kiss that speaks of longing, of desire, of the connection they forged through fire and danger. The night unfolds in a blur of passion. J-Cat's hands explore Sabine's body with a reverence that makes her shiver, his touch both demanding and gentle. She responds in kind, her fingers tracing the hard lines of his muscles, memorizing every inch of him. Their clothes fall to the floor, forgotten, as they move toward the bed, the world outside disappearing as they lose themselves in each other. Their lovemaking is intense, a physical manifestation of the emotions they've been holding back. It's a dance of equals, each giving and taking in perfect harmony. J-Cat is both commanding and tender, his strength tempered by the deep affection he feels for Sabine. She meets him with equal passion, her body responding to his every touch, her every sigh a testament to the pleasure he brings her. The hours slip away unnoticed as they explore each other, as they revel in the connection that has grown between them. Their bodies move together as if they were made for each other, each kiss, each caress deepening the bond that has formed. The world outside ceases to exist, all that matters is the moment, the night, the passion they share. When they finally collapse into each other's arms, their bodies spent and their hearts racing, there's a silence that speaks volumes. J-Cat holds Sabine close, his hands stroking her hair as they lie entwined, their breathing slowly returning to normal. He presses a gentle kiss to her forehead, a silent promise that this won't be the last time. But as much as they want to stay in this moment, the reality of J-Cat's life looms on the horizon. He knows that soon he'll have to leave, to face the dangers that await him on his next mission. Yet, for the first time, the thought of leaving fills him with a sense of loss. Sabine has become more than just a fleeting connection, she has become someone he can't imagine his life without. As the first light of dawn begins to filter through the curtains, J-Cat finally speaks, his voice a low murmur in the quiet room. "I have to go soon," he says, his tone laced with regret. Sabine lifts her head to meet his gaze, her eyes filled with understanding and something deeper, something neither of them dares to name. "I know," she replies, her voice steady, though her heart aches at the thought. J-Cat's hand cups her cheek, his thumb brushing lightly against her skin. "This isn't the end," he says, his voice firm. "We'll see each other again." Sabine smiles, a small, bittersweet smile. "I'll hold you to that," she says, leaning in to kiss him once more, a kiss that is both a goodbye and a promise. When J-Cat finally leaves, the sun has fully risen, casting a warm glow over the city. As he steps out into the morning light, his thoughts remain with Sabine, her touch, her scent, lingering on his skin. He knows that his life is one of danger and uncertainty, but for the first time, he feels like he has someone, worth fighting for. And as he drives away, the city slowly waking up around him, he knows that no matter where his next mission takes him, a part of him will always remain with Sabine, in that night of passion, in that moment of connection that has changed him forever. And that's a wrap on this episode of J-Cat Adventures. I hope you've enjoyed the journey and the excitement. Don't forget to subscribe or simply get in touch with me, by video call, or audio text chat. Let me know if you enjoyed the show. I would love to know what you think about J-Cat Adventures. Until next time, keep your spirit of adventure alive, and remember, the world is full of mysteries waiting to be uncovered. This is Jay Bahari, signing off. Stay curious, stay bold, and keep exploring. Also, you can find J-Cat products at www.jcatadventures.com and at Amazon.